Hey everyone, it's time for another math lesson. As some of you will recall, I made a video on the algebra course, so if you want you can look up the video. So today I'm going to do something similar. It is called the Trigonometry Series. So, if some of you don't know what trigonometry is used for, it is used to calculate the height of buildings. So if you become a constructor, trigonometry will be a useful topic for you when you construct buildings. So how does it work is, if I give you a certain angle or a certain length, you can find out other lengths and angles so that you can get your height of your building and your foundation. So in trigonometry, there are three names for the lines. One is called opposite, which is for OPP. One is for adjacent, which is ADJ, and one is for hypotenuse, which is HYP in short form. And there's this thing called angle theta, which actually determines where is your opposite. So if this is angle theta, this will be the opposite. So basically theta is like you can think of it as an algebraic letter for your lengths. So if angle theta is here, this would be your opposite and this would be your adjacent. These two will only change. The only thing that remains will be your hypotenuse, which is actually the longest length of the triangle. So theta is actually the 8th letter of the Greek alphabet. So from there are some formulas you can learn. Sine theta will be opposite by hypotenuse, and cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan theta, which is tangent theta, is opposite over adjacent. Now these are the three you should know, but the other three are actually the reverse. Cosecant is the reverse of sine. So cosecant theta is hypotenuse which over opposite, which is the reverse of sine theta. Secant theta is hypotenuse over adjacent, and cotangent theta is adjacent over opposite. So with these you can find out other lengths and other angles. So these 6 trigonometric ratios you should know. So here is actually a table where you can learn all the values for trigonometry. For example, sine 0 degrees, which means that your opposite over your hypotenuse is equal 0, so that will give you 0 degrees. If sine 30 degrees is half, sine 45 degrees is root 2 over 2, and sine 60 degrees is root 3 over 2, sine 90 is 1. Cosine is the reverse. So how do you remember this is, you can think of it as 0 over 2, root 1 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 3, root 4 over 2. So basically it's just adding on root 1. Cosine is the reverse, and tangent, it is multiplying by root 3 over 3. Okay? So cosecant, secant, and cotangent are actually the reverse. So if you swap the numerator and denominator, these will be your values here. So for example, this length, which I'm going to call the opposite, is 12 cm, and your adjacent is 16 root 3. Angle theta here is 30 degrees. What is the hypotenuse? Pause the video if you want to give this a try using the values here. Okay, so cosine 30 degrees is your adjacent over your hypotenuse, which in this case is 16 root 3 over your hypotenuse. And according to this, cosine 30 is root 3 over 2. So if I cross multiply each other, hypotenuse will be 16 root 3 times root 3 divided by 2, which is 24. Or if you attempt sine 30 degrees, which is also half, which is the easier one, 12 cm over hypotenuse is equal half. So if you cross multiply, hypotenuse is also equal to 24. So from here, you can actually get various lengths and angles. So now there are going to be a bunch of trigonometric functions you're going to learn. So I have created a way for you to remember. Just remember this circle that I've split into 6. So this is the order: tan, sine, cos, and I will reverse it to opposite. So tan is here, so cot is here. Sine is here, so cosecant is here, and cos is here, and secant is here. An easy way to remember is your C's are on this side, and those that are not starting with C will be on this side. So the first formula you should know is this. Now, how does this arrow work? So if you're at the bottom of the arrow, for this arrow here, if it's tan, this is the value here, which is equal numerator over denominator. So this can work on anywhere around the circle. So tan theta is equal sine theta over cos theta. So if you look at cosecant, so cosecant is the value, is equal secant over tan theta. So basically you can think number, numerator, denominator. This can work everywhere. For example, sine theta is equal cos theta over cotangent theta. So number is equal numerator over denominator. The second formula you should know is I intermultiply. So tan theta and sine theta. So you pick 3 values anywhere you want around the circle, and you should point 2 values such that one value is in between. So for this case, it will be sine theta, which is in between tan theta and cos theta. So this will be the middle, and tan theta times cos theta is equal sine theta. Then for the other case, it will be cotangent theta times secant theta, which is your cosecant. So if I pick, let's say here, cosecant theta times tan theta is secant theta. If you want to look for cos theta, since secant is the reverse of cosine, so cosine is 1 over secant. So cosecant times tan will be 1 over cosine. Later we'll explore into that. The third formula you can know is intermultiply. Now, as I said, sine theta, when you multiply by cosecant theta, since it's the reverse, when you multiply with each other, you get the value 1. So cotangent theta times tan theta is also equal to 1. Cosine theta times secant theta is also equal to 1. Alright. Now, for sine theta, when you have the values here, it will just be 1 divided by the cosecant. So since it's reversed, it will be 1 over cosecant theta. Now, if some of you have learned in secondary school that there's this thing called complementary angles, which mean they add up to become 90 degrees. So this can only work in this direction only. So sine theta is equal cosine times 90 minus theta. So basically, if you have one angle, you can find the other angle. So tan theta is equal cot 90 minus theta, and cosecant theta is equal secant 90 minus theta. So you can actually find the angle that is complementary to that, and when you add them up, it will become 90 degrees. Now for tan theta, since it's the reverse of 1 over cotangent, so if I actually multiply with 1 by 10, it will become 1 over tan 90 minus theta. Now that's all for the circle. Now we'll move on to a slightly different one. So basically, I want to do conversion of angles. So let me explain to you a bit how this works. So on this side, it is one of your lines, and when you touch into somewhere else, let's say here, it'll be an angle. I can actually find out what this angle is, and it's equal to what angle. So I will explain later. So in quadrant A, meaning it's between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, all your trigonomic functions will be positive. In S, sine theta is positive. In T, tangent theta is positive. And C, only cosine theta is positive. Alright, so let me explain how this works. So if this is your angle here, which is, I wrote A, this is already equal to theta. So whatever angle it is until 90, here from this line all the way to this line will become your angle. If it's between 90 degrees and 180 degrees, so this is theta, I can actually find out A because it's already touching the next line. So this will be A. So A is equal 180 minus theta. If it's between 180 and 270, A will become theta minus 180. And if it's between 270 and 360, it will be A, which is equal 360 minus theta. So it will still follow. Now if you can just remember these rules, it'll be very easy. So let me show you an example. So this is 135 degrees and this is the angle 45 degrees because 180 minus 135 is 45. Can you tell whether sine 135 degrees is equal sine 45 or negative sine 45, or it can be anything? So you can try to see how this works. So if it is sine 135, if I follow here, 135 is theta, so 45 will be A. So sine 180 minus 45, it is equal to 45. Now since it follows under the S category, it will become sine 45. And if you remember, sine 45 is actually equal to root 2 over 2. Cosine 135 is equal to cosine 180 minus 45. But if you notice, 135 belongs in the S category, not the C. And only sine is positive. So because of that, it will become negative. So it will become negative cosine 45, which is negative root 2 over 2. An easy way to remember this is CAST. So you can just do conversion of angles for you to understand how it works. So let's try another example. If it's 318 degrees, this will be 42 degrees. So if it's, let's say, cosine 318, then what would be its angle conversion? So let's see. Cosine 318, which in this case is A, which is 360 minus theta. So theta is 42. So cosine 360 minus 42. Now since it follows under the C category, it can become a positive, not negative. So it will become cosine 42. However, if it's tan 318, it will be tan 360 minus theta, which is 42. Now since it does not follow under the T category, it will become negative tan 42. So another formula you can learn is on the Pythagoras theorem, which is a square plus b square. So what is sine square theta plus cosine square theta equal? Pause the video if you want to attempt using these values here. I suggest you can pick one value from this chart and you can solve for the answer. Alright, so let's say I choose theta to be 30 degrees. So it will be half square plus root 3 over 2 square, and this is equal 1. For those who don't know, it's written like sine square theta, not like bracket sine theta bracket square. Because you cannot square an angle, but you can square the answer to it. So that's why it's written in such a peculiar way. Alright? So if you try with any answer, like let's say 45 degrees, 60 or 120, you will actually get 1. So from here you can explore other Pythagoras theorems. If I divide this by cosine square theta, so cosine square divided by cosine square is equal 1. Now if I've told you that sine divided by cosine is 10, so sine square theta divided by cosine square theta is 10 square theta. So and I divide 1 by this side. So 1 divided by cosine square theta, which is the reverse, it is secant square theta. And I can create another one. Instead of dividing by cosine square theta, I divide by sine square theta. So this will become sine square divided by sine square, which is 1, and cosine square theta divided by sine square theta, which is cotangent square. And this is equal to cosecant square theta. Alright.